Hello everybody, so in this video I want to talk about the things that I didn't like in Starfield. Now, as you know, I already mentioned, this is far from being 10 out of 10 game for me. It's a good game, lots of good things happening to it, and the more I actually played, the more I enjoyed it. However, there are lots of things that make this game, in some aspects of it, quite mediocre. Now, regarding exploration, it started actually good, but eventually, after even like 2 days after, I realized that it's really not fun, and I kind of got this courage to explore more. There are, of course, some legendaries that you can get in certain locations. Some of them, the good gear that you get, are going to be random drops. But overall, what you actually explore, you don't explore space because you don't fly through space. There's some, quests you can get in space if you jump from different star system. Planets are fossil generated. There are, of course, if you explore more, you're going to find some different location. Maybe a few of them are going to have legendary stuff. But overall, the planets themselves are quite boring because they repeat themselves and it's not really interesting to explore planets for a long time. I have to admit that there are some places where there are caves that can go pretty deep, that I found quite a few. Again, that would actually keep me up, but there are not many of them. And cities are fun to explore, I actually like them, but overall exploration in general felt lacking when it comes to planet exploration and space exploration, which is something that I really wanted to be in this game. I think this is probably the most annoying thing in the game. Tons of loading screens. You have so many loading screens, it's unbelievable. Especially if you want to do things fast, fly from one place to the other, get out of ship, opening doors, even in loading screens over loading screen. Absolutely terrifying how actually annoying it is in this game. And there are quite a lot. You get used to it? Yes. But again, it doesn't make it any better. It's just, you get used to it. But this is something that was so annoying my entire playthroughs. Now, regarding memorable NPCs characters, none of them. I didn't connect to none of them emotionally. In Baldur's Gate 3 I did. It's Cyberpunk 2077, no doubt about it. But here, nothing. Absolutely nothing. NPCs are like cardboard, nothing. They a painting on the wall. You don't care about any of them. At least that's how it was for me. So an RPG game with that thing, it's pretty bad. The other thing is the character visual. They look so, I don't know, lifeless. The details of the characters, this is another thing that I couldn't connect. It just seems so distant from you. They're so gamey, like 90s gamey kind of. And again, this is another thing that didn't make me connect to any of the characters. Sad. The other thing is that I didn't find anything challenging in the game. Eventually, again, after I finished my first playthrough and started the second, I actually used the God mode. I didn't even care about anything. I just wanted to have limitless power. But again, when I played those playthroughs, I felt that there's, again, without the console, there's no challenge really. I didn't feel anything challenging at all. Everything was piece of cake. So even getting things you find in the world don't really mean a lot if you really don't find something that you can be really helpful to get over a challenge. And this leads me to talk about boss fights. There are some, one that I had a fight in space that was actually really fun, with the Christmas fleet. That was actually pretty fun. But other than that, you're really expecting to have some kind of, if you play Elden Ring, you know what I mean. Sometimes you put so many things that none of the things actually matter. Whether in Elden Ring, for example, if you get one theme, it actually matters. It can really be very impactful in combat. That's why it feels so satisfying playing Elden Ring in that aspect. But here, it really doesn't matter. It's nice getting a legendary. Some of the weapons do feel good and of course better than the others. But if you look at the higher resolution, everything just feels flat and not important. And regarding I wanted boss fights, something. Yeah, there are some high-level enemies here and there, especially in the planet in the outer edges. But that's about it. Really, nothing special. No like boss fight is something to tell wow, what I need to bring to this fight is challenging. Nothing. Now, although I enjoyed the creativity creating spaceships, the thing that I created once and only one time, space bases, you don't need them at all. It's just a burden even to have them, even spend time on them. Unless you really want to do it and share on Reddit your amazing base. I didn't even want to be creative with that. It's just a waste of time. It was even more annoying in terms of the tools that you have to create it compared to the shipbuilding in terms of the intuitivity of the tools. I mean, all right, we don't explore space, but we have planets that are boring to explore in terms of exploration, all procedure generated. Most of them just barren and empty. And why even bother building a base on this planet that are already boring? This is no No Man's Sky. This is just really, there's really no reason for me to invest in a planet because the planets themselves are boring. And if I want to build something, I want to build it in a place where there's some action and fun. The other thing is replay value. Well, there's no replay value. It's just, let's say, lengthier play value. So if you're probably going to play the campaign, there's no really reason. There are some little changes after that you finish the game. But really, I started a new one and I decided, what am I going to do? Everything again? No way. Even this little thing that I've read about, doing a second playthrough, I'm not going to do this. So in terms of replay value, replaying the game, absolutely no reason to do so. The other thing is regarding planets. This is different because I'm talking now about the visuals. Really, nothing interesting. There's one actually that I like, the one that I share, like the Predator planet, where enemies are very invisible. You can actually check my channel for gameplay about that. Other than that, it's look everything kind of earthy-like. Just, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Probably say, so what do you expect? I don't know. It's just boring. Nothing really with a lot of imagination. And the thing is, maybe because it's just, vegetation and rocks and nothing really interesting in terms of building structures and unique places to visit. Boring. Yeah, so there are plenty of things, even more than what I'm saying here, that actually, made me kind of, get a bit off the game because it starts to get boring pretty fast when you, realize what you're doing in general and you're just going from one plane to the other, trying to find weapons here and there. And eventually I realized that if I'm going to spend days to try to find something, just better use the console, and that's about it. So the other thing is what actually made me enjoy the game. And, because exploration will start to be very boring. And basically the side missions are actually interesting and fun. And that's why I like it. The main missions boring. I didn't like it at all. I found that the side missions are much better than the main mission. I didn't like the ending, but that's my opinion. So overall, yes, discovering side missions and doing things related to it to discover something interesting and maybe good loot that led to specific missions, that's something what's actually interesting. And the thing is that there are many games, AAA games that have open world and lots to discover, where the side missions is not the main thing, but here the side quests are actually was something that I enjoyed the most. Weird. But all in all, a game that's supposed to live with us, and it will live with us for sure for a long time, it's lacking. It's definitely lacking. There are lots of good things, especially when you start playing it, a few days, but then you reach the peak, and from that point on, it falls flat very, very fast, unfortunately. So I had a good time with the game. I'm going to continue playing. I especially love making cool ships. You can check out my channel as well. But yeah, so 10 out of 10? Hell no, 10 out of 10. Hell no. They're better off making a compact game with 10 stars and make everything populated and great and rich and fun to explore than falling into this trap of this large open world procedure generated planets with all they can sell you is this, so many planets, probably the hundreds, by the way. You get bored and you don't want even to explore them. What's the point? And when I'm imagining Starfield as a space game, I want you to adventure through space. I want to also, enjoy visiting planets. But if the planets are like that, and just certain really small sections are something that have of an interest, and I even talk about the combat, it's actually lacking. There's not a lot of combat, space combat as well. And so, what space adventure is it? So if you look globally, at the things, again, some of the areas were designed very well. You need to understand those closed areas, the buildings were designed very well, very detailed, very rich, no doubt about it. You can actually see it here right now on the screen. But if you look at the whole, again, most of the body we're just going to run through, right? And just try to find something to pick up. And and lots of garbage, by the way, that you can pick up with nonsense. Again, we just take something, you take something that can be great, and you just explode it into a large scale, and all the pieces spread together, basically just something like a little game that was just expanded to look huge. That's how it feels like, with so many missing features that could make this game insane. with space travel and I don't. Maybe we need AI in the future to create games like that to fill them with content, because apparently big companies, at least some of them, just can make it happen. And by the way, this one was actually one of the more memorable character, Henry's ship. Just saying. That's why many saying, that Starfield is a mile wide and 1 inch deep. Yeah, this is a stretch out game, and all the 10 years we need to also put inside, the COVID that delayed the game, of course, for sure. So it's not like, straight on 10 years of development. Disappointment, yes. Whether it's a good game, it is a good game. And great, especially at the beginning. Worth playing, yes, but again, not 10 out of 10. Hell no, it's not 10 out of 10 game.